Hi, so today we're going to talk about round pens. Now, a lot of people use round pens, but I don't. And we're going to talk about what a round pen is, why I don't use them, and why some people do. Okay, so a round pen is basically just a pen that is rounded, has no corners. It's a fenced area that's rounded. Most people use one that's quite small, which can be problematic. When some people start, they put the dog on the outside just to get some idea how they're going to react to the stock, and then they'll bring them inside. Well, the idea in a round pen is to get the dog to the head of the stock and to control the stock or balance the stock. The problem is when the dog starts to go around, the sheep start to go around. As the dog goes around, the sheep go around, and the dog can never get to the head of the stock, because no matter how far or fast they run, they cannot get out far enough, open up far enough to get around and turn the stock in. And the handler usually tries to stay between the stock and the dog, because they don't want the dog to bite the stock or hurt the stock. So it's usually a handler that has very good timing, has a lot of experience. Otherwise, it tends to be kind of a train wreck. And the big problem is the dog cannot get out far enough where they need to be to get to the head of the stock and control the stock. So if you don't use a round pen, then what do you do? Well, I'll show you what I do. When I bring a dog to stock, I have already had the dog doing sitting, standing, recalling off the stock, and I have a pretty good idea that my dog will be under control, and they usually drag a long line at this point. I may use some cones to help the dog learn to stay out, which I will fade as soon as possible. But I'm not going to let the dog just loose in with loose sheep in the beginning. Once my dog can flank and walk in and recall back to me, then we're ready. Okay, now we're going to let the stock out. I still may leave the cones up for a while. The sheep may knock them over, but it's no big deal. But they help the dog realize they have to stay out and not cut in. So what do you do if the sheep start to get stuck in corners? Let's say they tend to get stuck in this corner. Well, I'll block it off. That way they can't get into the corner, and if I need to, I'll block off this corner. Any corners I need to, I'll put a gate or a panel and block it off for the sheep. And that way I've kind of got some control over the corners. And the big thing is, though, the pen is big enough that when I send my dog, they can get behind the sheep. They go around, they can get behind them. And that's a problem in the round pen, in the little round pen. You just can't get your dog off far enough. And you're starting with a dog that's so excited, and you're so excited, and everything happens so fast, and the poor dog never has a chance because they just can't get to the head of the stock. So that's really why I don't use round pens. I know a lot of people use them with great success, but I don't use them at all. So if I do block off a corner in a pen, eventually then I'll unblock that corner. And I love to use corners to train dogs how to get sheep out of a corner and how to get sheep off a fence. So corners are really your friend, but most people don't like to start with them. So that's it for this week. If you enjoyed this and learned something, please spread the herd.